Most automotive advice will tell you that buying an old truck is gambling with your wallet. High mileage means high repair bills, right? Tell that to the guy driving a 23 Tacoma with 300,000 miles that's worth more than some new sedans. Here's what the depreciation charts don't show you. Certain trucks from the 2000s and early 2010s hit a sweet spot where they're old enough to be affordable, but engineered simply enough to outlast their modern counterparts. We're talking pre-AFM GM engines, pre-aluminum Ford bodies, and Toyota trucks from the era when their frames were, well, we'll get to that. The used truck market right now is flooded with these machines because their original owners finally upgraded, not because they broke down. The problem: for every bulletproof 2012 Silverado, there's a 2014 model with a lifter ticking like a time bomb. We analyzed Consumer Reports data, cross-referenced owner forums, and dug through NHTSA complaint records to find the specific years worth your money. Not model ranges, exact years. Because when you're spending 10 to 15 grand on a work truck that needs to last another decade, generally reliable isn't good enough. Number 15, Dodge Dakota. The Dakota doesn't get the respect it deserves, mainly because it was discontinued in 2011, just when it was hitting its stride. That 2010 model year, though, that's the one you want, and here's why. It packed a 302 horsepower 4.7-liter V8 into a mid-size frame that could tow 7,200 pounds when properly equipped. Dakota pricing sits around $12,000 to $18,000 for clean examples with reasonable mileage, which puts it in the sweet spot for budget-conscious buyers. RepairPal gives it a 3.5 out of 5 reliability rating. Not spectacular, but respectable for a truck that delivers muscle truck performance without full-size fuel consumption. The real story lives in owner forums where Dakota drivers routinely report crossing the 200,000-mile mark with only routine maintenance. The engine is the star here. Chrysler's 4.7 V8 was old-school simple. No cylinder deactivation, no turbochargers, just cast iron and overhead valves doing exactly what they've done for decades. Sure, the interior won't win any awards and the ride quality reminds you this is a work truck, but that's not why you're buying a Dakota. You're buying it because it offers 80% of what a full-size truck delivers at 60% of the price. Number 14, GMC Sierra 1500, 2005 to 2006. The GMC Sierra from 05 and 06 represents the last gasp of pre-AFM GM truck engineering, and that's exactly why you want one. These trucks came before General Motors decided every V8 needed active fuel management, which means they also came before the lifter failures that would plague the next generation. Pricing hovers around $11,000 to $16,000 depending on configuration and mileage. The sweet spot is a Sierra with a 5.3-liter V8 and either the 4-speed or 6-speed automatic. Power output hit 295 to 315 horses depending on the year, with towing capacity maxing out around 9,500 pounds. Here's what makes these years special: simplicity. The pushrod V8 design had been refined over decades. No direct injection, no cylinder deactivation, no turbochargers. Just a proven small block architecture that mechanics can rebuild in their sleep, using parts that cost a fraction of what modern engines demand. One owner on the Silverado Sierra forum documented their 06 Sierra reaching 230,000 miles with only routine maintenance, oil changes, brakes, and one alternator replacement. Number 13, Ram 2500, heavy duty, 2005 to 2009. Now we're getting into serious territory. The Ram 2500 from the mid-2000s doesn't mess around, and neither should you if you're considering one. This is a work truck that can genuinely handle work. Up to 6,500 pounds of payload and towing capacities that make modern half-tons look inadequate. Prices vary wildly based on configuration, ranging from $10,000 for high-mileage diesel examples to $20,000 for clean gas models. The legendary 5.9 Cummins diesel disappeared after 07, replaced by the 6.7 that's proven equally durable, but comes with DEF systems and higher complexity. For buyers on a budget, the 5.7 Hemi gas option makes more sense. It delivers 395 horsepower and is substantially cheaper to maintain. The Cummins engines are legendary for a reason. Forum users routinely document crossing 400,000, even 500,000 miles with only basic maintenance. The Hemi won't quite match that longevity, but 250,000 miles is easily achievable if you stay on top of oil changes and don't skip the cooling system flushes. Number 12. Nissan Frontier, 2010 to 2018. The Frontier is the truck equivalent of that reliable coworker who shows up on time, does the job without drama, and never calls in sick. It's not exciting. It's not cutting edge, and that's precisely why it belongs on this list. Nissan basically stopped updating the Frontier after 2004, which sounds like a negative until you realize what that really means. They spent 14 years building essentially the same truck, which gave them plenty of time to work out every single bug. The 2.5 four-cylinder is adequate for basic work, but the 4-liter V6 pumping out 261 horsepower is what you actually want. It'll move the truck with authority and return respectable fuel economy in the low 20s combined. Pricing sits in the $8,000 to $15,000 range depending on mileage and trim. The SV trim gives you just enough features to be comfortable without adding complexity that breaks. Four-wheel drive is available if you need it, though the rear drive version offers better fuel economy and fewer components to maintain. RepairPal ranks the Frontier first among mid-sized trucks for reliability, scoring 4 out of 5, better than the Tacoma, which might surprise Toyota loyalists. The engine and transmission combination proved virtually bulletproof. Owner forums show Frontiers routinely crossing 200,000 miles with only oil changes, brake jobs, and the occasional alternator replacement. Number 11. Honda Ridgeline, 2006 to 2014. Let's address the elephant in the showroom. Purists hate the Ridgeline. Unibody construction, front-wheel drive base platform. That weird in-bed trunk, it's not a real truck according to the forums where people measure their self-worth in towing capacity. Those people are missing the point entirely. The Ridgeline was engineered to be exactly what most truck buyers actually need. Something that rides comfortably during the daily commute, hauls home improvement supplies on weekends, and tows a moderate trailer without drama. It delivers all of that while offering reliability numbers that shame most traditional body-on-frame trucks. The 3.5-liter V6 produces 250 horsepower and traces its lineage to Honda's most bulletproof engine designs. This is the same basic architecture that powers Accords to 300,000 miles with only oil changes, mated to a 5-speed automatic that was thoroughly proven before installation in the Ridgeline. It's a powertrain combination with almost zero weaknesses. Pricing runs $9,000 to $17,000 depending on trim and mileage. The RTL and higher trims add leather, heated seats, and a better audio system. Creature comforts that actually matter when this is your daily driver. Towing capacity tops out at 5,000 pounds, which handles most recreational trailers and utility needs. The bed is 5 feet long with clever storage underneath, though serious contractors will find it limiting. Number 10, Chevrolet Silverado, 1500, 1999 to 2006. Welcome to the golden age of GM trucks. The late 90s through mid-2000s, Silverado represents peak simplicity in American truck engineering, right before active fuel management came along to ruin everything. These trucks were built on the GMT 800 platform, which General Motors refined through multiple iterations until they got it right. The 4.8, 5.3, and 6-liter V8 options all featured pushrod designs that any mechanic could service. No cylinder deactivation, no direct injection. Just simple, proven technology executing basic functions flawlessly. Pricing varies dramatically based on condition and mileage. High-mileage work trucks start around $5,000. Clean examples with lower miles can fetch $12,000 to $15,000. The 5.3-liter is the sweet spot. Adequate power for most tasks, reasonable fuel economy for a V8, and legendary reliability. Forum members routinely document these engines crossing 250,000 miles with only routine maintenance. The 4-speed automatic transmission paired with these engines was tough, not fancy. not particularly efficient, but tough. Fluid changes every 60,000 miles keep it happy, and that's about all the drama you'll experience unless you're towing at maximum capacity in mountainous terrain daily. Number 9. Ford F-250 Super Duty, 2008 to 2010. The Ford F-250 Super Duty from this era comes with a decision tree: diesel or gas. The 6.4 power-stroke diesel has a reputation, and not the good kind. EGR failures, radiator issues, head bolt problems that can grenade an engine. Avoid it unless you're a diesel mechanic with a closet full of wrenches and spare weekends. The 6.2-liter gas V8? Now we're talking. This naturally aspirated Boss engine pumps out 385 horsepower and 405 pound-feet of torque, enough to move this half-ton of truck with authority and tow legitimate loads without breaking a sweat. Ford borrowed this block architecture from their pickup trucks and made it work in the Super Duty application, and the result is one of the most reliable gas engines Ford's ever offered in this class. Pricing for clean gas examples runs $10,000 to $18,000, depending on cab configuration, mileage, and condition. These trucks command a premium over half tons because anyone shopping for a Super Duty actually needs that capability. This isn't a mall crawler. Towing capacity can exceed 15,000 pounds when properly equipped, and payload numbers that make half-ton owners weep. The TorqueShift 6-speed automatic transmission behind these engines proves substantially more reliable than the 5-speed it replaced. Fluid changes every 60,000 miles keep it happy, and these units regularly exceed 200,000 miles without rebuild if maintained properly. Number 8. Toyota Tundra, 2007 to 2009. Here's where things get interesting and controversial. The Toyota Tundra from this era has achieved legendary status for reliability, with multiple documented cases exceeding 1 million miles. Victor Shepard drove not one, but 2 Tundras past 1 million miles, and Toyota engineers studied his first truck to figure out what made it so durable. But there's a catch that most best trucks lists conveniently ignore: the frame rust settlement. Toyota issued a recall affecting 2007 through 2008 Tundras due to frame corrosion issues traced back to a supplier problem. Affected trucks were eligible for frame replacement up to 12 years from the original sale date. Some owners got completely new frames installed at no cost. Others weren't so lucky, discovering rust perforation after the warranty expired. This doesn't make the Tundra a bad truck. It makes it a truck you need to thoroughly inspect before buying. Crawl underneath, look for rust. If the frame was already replaced, you're golden. If it's original and clean, verify it didn't spend winters in salt states. If there's visible rust, walk away unless you're getting it for scrap value. Number 7. Ford Ranger, 2005 to 2011. The Ford Ranger represents old-school compact truck philosophy before compact meant almost full-size. These trucks were genuinely small, fuel-efficient by truck standards, and simple enough that anyone with basic mechanical knowledge could maintain them. The 2.3-liter 4-cylinder is adequate for basic duty and delivers decent fuel economy, up to 25 miles per gallon highway in rear-drive configuration. But the 4-liter V6 is what most buyers want, and for good reason. It makes 207 horsepower and 238 pound-feet of torque, moving the Ranger with genuine authority. This engine traces its lineage back to Ford's Cologne V6 architecture, refined over decades until it became nearly bulletproof. Pricing is remarkably affordable, $6,000 to $12,000 for decent examples with reasonable mileage. The Ranger's compact footprint means it's easier to park than full-size trucks, and the lighter weight translates to better fuel economy and lower maintenance costs. Parts are cheap and plentiful. Any mechanic can work on it. There are no complicated computer systems to diagnose. The 5-speed manual transmission is tough and straightforward. The 5-speed automatic, available on later models, proved reliable if the fluid is changed regularly. 4-wheel drive is available for buyers who need it, though the rear-drive version offers better fuel economy and simpler maintenance. Number 6. Ram 1500, 2013 to 2018. The 2013 Ram 1500 redesign was controversial when it launched. Chrysler ditched the old 3.7-liter V6 nobody wanted and replaced it with the corporate Pentastar 3.6, making 305 horsepower. More importantly, they mated it to the new ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving best-in-class fuel economy for a half-ton truck. Motor Trend named it Truck of the Year. J.D. Power Watch dependability scores jumped 30% compared to industry averages. Ram had finally built a truck that competed on more than just Hemi muscle and aggressive styling. Pricing runs $9,000 to $18,000 depending on year, mileage, and configuration. The Pentastar V6 is adequate for most buyers, returning fuel economy in the low 20s combined. But if you can swing it, the 5.7 Hemi V8 pumping 395 horses is worth the premium. It's smooth, powerful, and surprisingly refined for a pushrod design that dates back decades. That ZF 8-speed transmission is either your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on which truck you buy. Early production units had issues with harsh shifts and shuddering, addressed through multiple software updates. Later model years sorted most problems. The key is test driving thoroughly and verifying all updates have been applied. When it works right, it's smooth and efficient. When it doesn't, dealership visits become a regular occurrence. Number 5. Chevrolet Silverado 1500, 2017 to 2018. Hear me out on this one. Yes, we already covered earlier Silverados, but the 2017 and 2018 models deserve separate recognition because they represent the last hurrah of the refined AFM system before GM switched to dynamic fuel management and reintroduced a whole new set of problems. By 2017, GM had spent a decade working the bugs out of their active fuel management system. The lifter failures that plagued 2007 through 2011 models, largely fixed. The excessive oil consumption, addressed with piston ring improvements and updated programming. These trucks benefited from all the lessons GM learned the hard way. The 5.3-liter V8 makes 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet in these models, a substantial jump over earlier generations. The 6-speed automatic transmission is smooth and well-sorted. The interior quality finally matched what Ford and Ram were offering, with softer materials and better fit and finish. Number 4. Ford F-150, 2009 to 2014. The 12th generation F-150 represents Ford's redemption arc. After the catastrophic 2004 through 08 models, with their exploding spark plugs and failing cam phasers, Ford engineers went back to the drawing board and built a truck that could actually compete with Toyota's reputation for reliability. The 2009 redesign fixed almost everything wrong with the previous generation. The 5.4-liter V8 received updated spark plugs that wouldn't blow out of the cylinder heads. The timing chains got proper tensioners. The cam phasers were redesigned to actually last. Consumer reports gave it very good reliability ratings, something they'd never said about an F-150 before. But the real star came in 2011 when Ford introduced the 5-liter Coyote V8. This engine was clean-sheet modern, featuring dual overhead cams, variable valve timing, and genuinely impressive power delivery. 360 horsepower and 380 pound-feet made it competitive with GM's 6.2 while achieving better fuel economy than Ford's own 6.2. The Coyote's reliability proved exceptional. Owner forums document examples crossing 300,000 miles with only oil changes and routine maintenance. The engine is smooth, responsive, and sounds fantastic at full throttle. The 6-speed automatic transmission behind it was thoroughly proven before installation, resulting in one of the most bulletproof powertrain combinations Ford has ever offered. Number 3. Toyota Tacoma, 2012 to 2015. The second-generation Tacoma had a rough start with frame rust issues from 2005 through 2010. But by 2012, Toyota had addressed the problems, and the late second-gen trucks represent some of the most reliable midsize pickups ever built. These trucks benefited from all the lessons Toyota learned during the frame rust debacle. Better corrosion protection, improved quality control, and that signature Toyota over-engineering that means everything is built to survive abuse that would kill lesser trucks. The 4-liter V6 makes 236 horsepower, not exactly tire shredding, but adequate for moving the Tacoma with purpose. It's paired with either a 6-speed manual or 5-speed automatic, both proven transmissions that regularly exceed 200,000 miles. The manual is more engaging and offers better fuel economy. The automatic is smooth and trouble-free. Pricing is where the Tacoma gets painful. Clean examples run $15,000 to $25,000, substantially more than domestic trucks with similar age and mileage. But here's the thing. Tacomas hold value like gold bars because everyone knows they last forever. That $25,000 Tacoma will still be worth $15,000 when that $15,000 Silverado is worth $5,000. Number 2, Honda Ridgeline 2006 to 2014 with manual transmission. Wait, didn't we already cover the Ridgeline? Yes, but the manual transmission models deserve their own mention because they represent something increasingly rare. A truck that's genuinely fun to drive while maintaining Honda's reputation for bulletproof reliability. Only the sport and lower trim levels offered the manual transmission, making them relatively rare on the used market. But if you can find one, you're getting the full Honda experience. A naturally aspirated V6 that loves to rev, paired with a smooth shifting 6-speed manual that makes even mundane errands engaging. The manual transmission Ridgeline returns slightly better fuel economy than the automatic, around 19 combined versus 17. More importantly, it completely bypasses any potential transmission issues since there's no torque converter or valve body to wear out. Clutch life typically exceeds 150,000 miles with normal driving, and replacement runs under $1,000. The same Honda reliability applies. The J35 V6 will run forever with only oil changes. The unibody structure means no frame to rust. The independent rear suspension delivers a ride quality that makes other mid-sized trucks feel agricultural. And that in-bed trunk remains genuinely useful, providing secure storage that's protected from weather and theft. Number 1, Ford F-150, 2013 to 2014. The number 1 slot goes to the 2013 and 14 F-150 with the 5-liter Coyote V8 for a simple reason. This is the last year of peak simplicity before the aluminum body transition, combined with a thoroughly proven powertrain that's achieved legendary reliability status. These trucks represent the culmination of Ford's 12th generation development. Every issue from the 2009 launch had been addressed. The Coyote V8 had 3 model years of real-world use demonstrating its durability. The 6-speed automatic transmission behind it was thoroughly sorted. The interior quality had been refined. The rust protection on the frame was excellent. Everything just worked. Pricing runs $12,000 to $22,000 depending on mileage, trim, and configuration. The sweet spot is an XLT or Lariat Super Crew with 4-wheel drive, comfortable enough for daily driving, capable enough for serious work, with enough features to feel modern without overcomplication. The 5-liter Coyote produces 360 horsepower and 380 pound-feet. It's smooth, quiet at cruise, and sounds fantastic when you stand on the throttle. Fuel economy is respectable for a V8, 17 combined in rear drive configuration, slightly less in 4-wheel drive. Towing capacity hits 11,300 pounds. Payload maxes out around 2,500 pounds depending on configuration. The steel body means straightforward repairs when you inevitably scrape a tree or ding a door in a parking lot. Aluminum's weight savings are great, but steel's repairability and lower insurance costs matter more on a used truck you're planning to keep forever. And the fully boxed frame proves exceptionally durable. These trucks will outlast their bodies in Rust Belt states. Owner forums are filled with 14 F-150s approaching 300,000 miles on original engines and transmissions with only routine maintenance. Oil changes every 5,000 miles. Transmission fluid every 60,000. Spark plugs at 100,000. Coolant flushes every 60,000. That's it. No special procedures, no complicated computer resets. Just basic maintenance yielding exceptional longevity. The used truck market rewards informed buyers who know which years to pursue and which to avoid. Arm yourself with this knowledge, and you'll find genuine long-term value that makes those monthly payments on a new truck look foolish by comparison. For more bulletproof vehicles that last, check out our video on 20 trucks that'll still run long after you're gone.